a better Nigeria? Is it a myth or do we keep hoping?
Nigeria is a highly religious country. How come corruption thrives?
Why is adoption not encouraged in Nigeria?
Is there a future for the Nigerian youth?
Being rich and famous, is that the only drive to be an artist?
What makes a great nation? Is it the leaders? What about the people?
This is Answers with Dr. Reju. Hi, my name is Onari. This is Answers with Dr. Reju, where critical life issues are clarified. Today, we welcome back Adam Slojok to the program.
Thank you, Onari.
It's been a while since we had you here. Welcome, Adam.
Thank you so much.
And Obi Brown, you're welcome again.
Thank you.
And Dr. Reju.
Thank you.
Always good to have you.
Glad to be here.
From our last episode, we reasoned that the primary intention of going into business should not be to make money. Now, if you want details of that, you need to go to our YouTube channel and have a full detail of that. We said true business people walk on the street and they see needs, they see businesses, they see things that they can do. We'll get right into it, and there are questions from there. But we have some careful thoughts from last week. Take a listen.
Be your own boss. Gain financial security. Take your destiny in your hands. Gain your freedom. These and more are the motivational sound bites heralded to our teeming youths who are indecisive when it comes to taking the plunge into the less-known world of entrepreneurship. But are these sound bites enough to stimulate a hesitant person? Does starting a business really offer what we are popularly told? Does business success really depend on personality traits or emotional permutations? Should the question be, who can succeed in business, or what business can anyone succeed in? Yes, indeed. The business world is less known. Yet, what we do know scares us more. A research carried out by Stanford University states that 5 out of 10 businesses survive in the first year of starting, and only 1 out of the remaining 5 will be open after 5 years.
Gallup poll, a research think tank, states that only 18% of business owners in Nigeria are thriving beyond average. In another of its research, it found out that 63% are operating their businesses unregistered due to uncertainty it will survive for long. Yet, Gallup statistics also states that there is a 40% chance for getting any paid job in Nigeria, and that there is only a 10% chance of keeping that job beyond 5 years. Today's youth is in a dilemma. Whether you choose a paid job or the path of business ownership, the statistics are grim, and your chances for advancement are very slim. Answers with Dr. Reju will go on a journey into the world of business to see at a glance the necessary fundamentals required for business initiation and sustainability. We will delve into questions like, what really is entrepreneurship? What are the core pillars of business culture? Why choose to go into business? Join us as we clarify life's critical issues on Answers with Dr. Reju.
So let's start our questions. Obi, or do we start with Adams? Let's go with Adams.
All right. Yeah, so Dr. Reju, I listened to you last week and you said people walk on the streets and they see opportunities. But we have this mentality in our society where people see things that are wrong or things that need to be corrected and they're thinking government. How do we disabuse people's minds from that, where they grab the opportunities that are latent in those scenarios instead of pushing things down to the government?
Now, again, it's all about the narrative that happens in society, because we have not been taught, both in school, at home, there is a particular narrative that push responsibility to the next person. And those are the kind of things we have to begin to change. You see, because there is little or no information even from government to people. So there are a lot of assumptions.
Yeah.
A lot of assumptions that everything government has to do it. It will shock you. The government is not even responsible for giving people jobs. The government is supposed to create the enabling environment for people to be able to realize their creative potentials, be able to put motion to it. It goes down to a situation where the government has become so patriarchal, like our father. That's why they call the governor wants to become governor, become Baba. We become president is Baba. So we have that very paternalistic kind of approach to life. And it tied to what I said last week about somebody somewhere is one who is responsible for what I'm supposed to do. So it's a narrative that needs to change. This is what I want to advise. Whatever you see, you might be the only person seeing it. You are the only person seeing it because you have the wherewithal, which you might not know yet, to fix that problem. Somebody might see it and never even know it's a problem. The reason I'm seeing it is because I'm likely to have the skill set dormant, still dormant in me that can fix that problem. Everywhere you go and you see a problem is because you have the answer. If you can't ask the right question, it is likely you don't know the answer. The reason I can answer your question is because that question has first of all come up in my mind and I've been able to process it. I don't know if I'm making sense. Yeah, that's really it. But generally, it's the narrative. The government. There's no soup in the kitchen. It's the government. Everything is the government. We need to change that narrative.
Quite true.
Yeah.
So, Dr. Reju, should everybody be entrepreneurial?
Yes.
Everybody. It's human. It's something that's in it. The expressions are different. Okay, I said yes because if that person can think, he can be entrepreneurial. And every human being can think. Right?
Yeah.
So because being entrepreneurial, the reason we've had problems is because we have limited it into business. Right? But again, we shouldn't look at business only as an economic activity. Business is anything you're busy doing that gets your attention. Busy is from that same family of words. So when we say that everybody should be entrepreneurial, we are saying that everybody should be creative, we should be enterprising, we should be resourceful. In whatever we're doing, we should have a touch of excellence. Even on a 9-to-5 job, a salaried earner and all those kind of things, your basic schedule of duty in the office, you want to do it with a touch of excellence. I remember the pattern when I started working in the bank was that if you join the bank as a graduate, you go through all the departments and you write a report. And one of the things you need to do in that report is to tell the management better ways of doing that particular assignment. When I joined the bank, we were still using mainframe computers, right? PC was just coming out. And I remember that if you come to the bank, you drop a check, the cashier takes it, stamps it, you give it to somebody who verifies the signature, you give it to another person who checks whether you have the money, you give it to another person who now signs, it comes through, there's a whole human being carrying that check all over the place, a whole person. And it goes like that, and then the check travels back. That's the reason you stay a long time in the banking hall in those days, And when I wrote my report, because I've had the opportunity of studying what the PC can do and everything, I said, why don't we, the guy that signs the check last, why don't we put him inside the computer? Put the other guys inside the computer and bring that guy into the cage to come and pay you. Did you get that?
Yeah.
Put the signature verifier inside the computer. Put the guy who verifies the balance inside the computer. Put the other kind of person carrying it around inside the computer. And then the guy who signs, finally, put him to operate it. That's what banks do today. So even from that time, I knew that there was something wrong with this. So there is that thing in man that it can be better. That's why you have your bath every day. For those who do, okay. That's a joke. Because there's always this tendency in man to just want to renew. You want to be better. That's what it means to be enterprising. You are adventurous. You want to go to places. You want to do things you've never done before. It excites man. It brings out the best in you. So everybody should be entrepreneurial. Yeah, we should have this pioneering spirit.
Okay, that's very educating.
Yeah.
Obi Brown.
Okay, Dr. Reju. Last week you said that business is about meeting a need.
Yeah.
And there's so many needs to be met in our environment. Now, but I still have this feeling that certainly every need cannot be met by just one person who sees the need. I feel, and maybe that's what I want you to clarify, should there be pointers that one should use in determining what business he or she should go into?
Yeah, I mean, it goes in line with what I just said. That if you're walking on the street, what you are seeing, you might be the only person seeing it. And that the reason you are seeing is because there might be a latent, a dormant skill set inside of you that can actually solve that problem or meet that need. So what really determines the kind of business somebody should do, it comes from within. The benefit you derive in doing that business is the fact that you are doing it. I'll say that again. The benefit, the thrill is in the fact that you are doing the business. So the benefit, the reward is intrinsic. This is something I always tell people. Whatever you can do that you lose every sense of time is likely what you are really wired to do, where you don't get tired. There's always a renewed motivation. It just pulls you in. You get lost. You are consumed by the zeal. So everybody can do every business. Businesses depends on your unique skill set. The problem, the tragedy in our society is that people want to do business that is booming.
Yeah.
It's so mediocre. And like we were speaking, off air, that some people don't want to share their ideas with some people because they think they might steal it. Let them steal it. If it is stolen, it can't be done the way you do it.
True.
That guy will come back to you. Let them steal it. Because what you are wired to do, nobody can do it the way you do it. That's just it. Again, we really want to do that thing. We also allow the value society place on it. Somebody said it's a cobbler. And you allow the word cobbler or a shoemaker to just depress you, to demoralize you. Meanwhile, everybody wears shoes. The guy that's wearing that shoe, somebody made it. The guy that made it is a shoemaker. Everybody wear clothes. The guy that makes the shirt is a tailor. We have this problem with status, with identity in Africa. That I'd rather not call myself a tailor. I'm a fashion designer. You're just deceiving yourself. We also allow society to just kill that initiative because of the value that they place on it. I've seen people while growing up who will not set up a normal salon. He will only set up a salon that only fixes nails. I remember that particular salon in Lagos. The name is Just Nails. That's the only thing to do. No hair, no face, no chaos. Whether paid your money or whatever. Just nails. And she was known. That you really want the top range nail fixing and all this kind of, that's where you go. That kind of person determines her own market. She sets the pace. Everybody wants to be like her. So maybe I've over-answered this question, I don't know. But the fact is, the business you do that won't weary you, that won't put you under so much anxiety, because anxiety wastes away your creativity. That business that you derive joy in doing. Remember what we said when we defined work. Any productive activity, right, that actually serves society. And then secondly, it brings fulfillment to the one working, so that you do that business and there's no downtime. You are uniquely made for it. It's not what everybody is doing. And society needs for people to think that way. That's what makes us complete.
This is Answers with Dr. Reju. Obi.
All right, Dr. Reju, there is a scary statistic out there, and it says that 90% of businesses that start fail in the first 5 years. Now, my question is, what does an entrepreneur or a business owner need to do to ensure that his business, is sustained?
Well, 90%, we can't verify the statistics. 90% is a bit high, but it sounds like something that might be true. I remember there was a time I was privileged to walk on the street of Hollywood, and they said that what they call that street is a street of broken dreams. That, again, close to 90% of those who dream to come there to make it, they never make it. But you see, I can tell you that for businesses, if that business starts and it doesn't survive, for more than 5 years, something is wrong with the foundation. There is a defective philosophy that birthed the business. There is a wrong motive that birthed the business. There is lack of established and well intended value system that drives the business. That's why it has to die off. You see, the business world heals itself. If you come in there and you become toxic, you will go. It's like the banking industry then. Once you don't follow those principles, you will go. You know, the kind of life that a business should live, if it's not living that life, it's natural for it to die. So when you don't have the right value system for that business, if you're always looking for the bottom line, you begin to compromise on standard, you know, and then once you compromise on standard, you create room for alternatives. And when the alternatives come, it will squeeze you out. You know, so it's a question of getting the business philosophy, which is universal, getting it right. Why am I going to this business? What is the founding principles? Can we identify? It doesn't matter the size. It takes us back to where we started from. It's about seeing a need, right? And creating a product or a service to meeting that need. And then seeing that that product and the service that you have put in there, it keeps increasing in quality and standard. Can match changes because those needs change. You know, it can actually match it. So it's a question of people go for bottom line. That's the, you know, is the narrative in the business world. Again, it might be, what do I mean by success?
Yeah.
You know, how do I determine success?
Success.
You know, so success in society is how much you made at the end of the day, not how many people you served. But that business was set up to serve, not to make.
Yeah.
You know, so those are the kind of things that kills the business. There is no way you go for profit that you will not compromise on standard. You will compromise on standard. So, and once you compromise, like I said, you create room for alternatives. You know, because where do we get strong brands? They've been able to keep that standard over time, you know, for a very long period of time. And any other person that comes, they queue behind it. They queue behind it. So, you know, it's a question of understanding what runs a business, not what the business should produce. Right? What is the sustaining force of a business? Understand it. Leave the outcome. You know, don't control the outcome. Right? Don't tamper with the market, so to say, the way they say it in economics. An example that's close to home. I'll predict, I don't know if it's already happening, most of the beneficiaries of You Win, they will fail.
That's scary.
Most of them will fail.
Is that a prediction or a prophecy or?
I don't know, but it's because the You Win thing, well intended but badly delivered. You can't give people free money. No. Those that I know that are beneficiaries of You Win, I said it's free, but consider it a loan and pay back. Pay yourself back. You can't give people free money. They have to pay back. Is it that You Win should have been packaged in such a way that there is a particular fund deposit? If it is 100 billion, you put it there and that's all. Every beneficiary of You Win will have to contribute back to that fund. Right? If that 100 billion goes out, we don't give any other person until some of it comes back. Right? They have to pay back the money. How can you give people free money to go and do business? It's never done. So the foundational philosophy, compromise on accountability. You can't be accountable. There is no motivation to work hard because the money is free.
Yeah.
So majority of them are going to fail. I don't know whether those beneficiaries they have some training. Those who are going to succeed will have to impose on themselves some personal discipline. Because the whole procedure does not give room for discipline. It's a dash.
I think they give them the money in chunks.
Even then,
like that.
even if you give in chunks, it's still a dash.
Okay.
Because many of them might never get the last chunk and that business is gone. Because the first chunk, they couldn't even meet the conditions to get the next tranche. So that business is gone. That money is wasted. The whole idea of that thing is good, economic empowerment, but economic empowerment should not create an atmosphere where people are given a dash. There's nothing free, even in Freetown.
Even in Freetown.
No,
Adams. Over to you, Adams.
Okay, Dr. Reju. Let's assume now I see a business somewhere, and that particular business has checked out all these requirements that you're talking of started for the right purpose, principles, philosophy, everything.
Values and everything.
Everything is perfect. Everything is okay. Can I pick that model and replicate it somewhere else?
There's really nothing wrong in picking models. But again, what works, right, in Lagos, the right models, pick it to Jos, it might not work. When you are picking that model, you have to contextualize it. You know, it might be the same principle, but the expression, the execution of it is going to be... Let me give an example that maybe we give sometimes. Restaurant. People will eat. Right? People will normally eat. Restaurant business will grow. But you know that restaurant business in Jos is not the same as restaurant business in Abuja. People don't eat out much in Jos like Abuja. Abuja, people, families are not there. You know, people live there only on the week. They go home on weekends. Abuja is a very strange town. Hotels are cheaper in weekends. I mean, I've never... That negates every law of hotel business. But that's what I'm saying. Why you pick those models? Most of the books we read, they're books written in America. So when you are reading it, put on your African cap, put on your Nigerian cap, because the principles are the same, but the execution of those principles must take into account the unique realities of your own context. So there's nothing wrong in copying models. But one downside of models is that you might always, for the rest of your life, live in the shadow of the success from where you pick that model. Right? And again, business can't be done in an atmosphere of stress. You can't be creative the moment you are stressed, the moment you are anxious. If you live in the shadow of how that thing was so successful, right, in that place, you will not be able to realize yourself here. So it's so important that you know exactly where you are bringing those models to. See how they fit to where you are. That person has done that. It has been a success there because there is a sync between the models and the context. When you come here also, you have to understand your context and then know how to shape this model. Principles are the same, but execution different.
Dr. Reju, for the insight you always bring to this program, we thank you.
Thank you, Anari.
Thank you, Obi Brown.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Adams. I hope we have you again, next episode. Give us a call or chat us on WhatsApp on 081-4456-9000. That's 081-4456-9000. Check out our website and interact with us on www.answerswithdrreju.com. Like our Facebook page, Answers with Dr. Reju, or send us an email at answerswithdrreju@gmail.com. On Twitter, we are @Dr. Reju Answers. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel, Answers with Dr. Reju, where you can get all our episodes. Join us again on Answers with Dr. Reju, where critical life issues are clarified. All right, we'll take a musical here by the Gatekeepers.